Good morning, Bucknutters. It is Tuesday, February 13th, 2018. I'm Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and change. If it's Tuesday, that can mean only one thing. It's cold in the Gem City. It's cold in Columbus, and Duane Long is here to warm us up. Duane, how goes it?
I'm done with winter. That's how it goes. I'm done. I want to move on. It's time for spring. I'm just done.
It does seem like the older we get, the less we like the cold. However, something we do like, and that's a professional segue, is recruiting. Ohio State has just done an incredible job. For those who don't know, their recruiting class for 2018 has the second highest average per recruit ever, second only to the 2017 Ohio State class in average per ranking. So Georgia may have finished with technically the top overall class this year, but when you're looking at value per player, Ohio State is truly setting the standard. Today, and obviously for the next, 11 months or so, 10 and change, Duane and I are going to be talking a lot about 2019 dudes. Those of you that rode the roller coaster with us last year know that by the time we got to signing day, both of them, common knowledge on the dudes. So we're going to try and set that up today. We're just kind of getting started. So today is going to be Duane's top 5 or so most wanted players in the class of 2019 for Ohio State. Now, this does not mean the top 5 players in the class, and for those of you who follow Duane, and that means all of you, you should know that Duane is a little bit more need-based when it comes to recruiting than others. So we are just going to get started. Duane's going to go down his list, and I actually have 2 guys that I have man crushes on already. I haven't reviewed everybody tape-wise, but I did review some tape for this, and afterwards, if Duane does not mention my 2, I will bring them up, but let's just see how we go. Duane? Who is the player in the class of 2019 that you want most for your Ohio State Buckeyes?
I think it's. I can't imagine anybody is not going to have Harrison at the top of their list.
Okay, hold on a
sec.
Hold on. That is Zach Harrison, probably the one
name
that's common knowledge around here. Yep. Defensive end from Orange, I believe. So go ahead.
Orange, yeah. He's just a unique athlete. I mean, when you think about just pure athleticism, if you were building a defensive lineman, I mean, this kid is going to get 275, 280, maybe heavier, and he's not going to be moving the defensive tackle. He could, but he's just so athletic, so just fast. I mean, his times in the 200 meters, he's just phenomenal for a kid his size. It's really falls into the freak category. Athletically, he is a freak. His highlight film is something everybody needs to watch. This is the kid that, last year we were all freaking about Jackson Carman. Need had a lot to do with that, and we do need ends again. But this kid right here, if I was saying, talk about must-have, we must have him. He's in the state. He's just around the corner. I mean, this guy could take a bicycle and get to Ohio State. So he really, we got to get him in here. Maybe more of a fight for him than some think, but we got to have him. It's such a need position. Any year, you got to get pressure on the quarterback. That's the way the game is played these days. And this kid is just such a must-have.
I completely agree.
Number 1.
Yeah, I completely agree. I wouldn't put Carman really even in the prospect same tier as Harrison in terms of the intangibles and the off-the-field stuff. And you got that right. I mean, this isn't breaking news. You can't let the number 1 player in the country leave Columbus. That's just so obvious. So there's the low-hanging fruit portion of the show. Number 2, Duane.
My number 2 is Kendall Wright. He's a tackle prospect, offensive tackle prospect. He's from West Virginia. We have just not done a good enough job of bringing in top tackle prospects. We've gotten some guys that were projects. We've gone into the junior college ranks with Pridgeon And, we've gone to some far-off places to bring in guys. We need to get some guys that play big boy football. And West Virginia is not Ohio, but it's still solid at least. A few prospects have come out of there. And this guy's athleticism.
Hold on a sec. You mean Darnell Wright, correct?
Darnell, what did I say? Kendall Wright.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Darnell Wright.
Making sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, getting used to the names. We're new. This is a new year. Darnell Wright. He's outstanding. His length, his athleticism. I mean, this kid could get recruited by some programs as a defensive end. He plays defensive end in high school and does it quite well. He's that athletic. And we need to get some guys like that in here, just really elite athletic tackles. We got one in this class, and maybe we got two. Max Ray is, the more I've been looking at his film, the more I like him. But Darnell Wright is the kind of tackle we need to bring in here. He's a kid that is absolutely a left tackle, no doubt about that. And bringing him in right behind Petit Ferrer is just it's exactly what this program needs. And the good news is we're in really good shape for him. So he would be my number two guy.
Yeah, if you look at his crystal ball right now, there are 5 predictions, all go towards Ohio State. Darnell is the number 1 ranked offensive tackle in the country according to 24/7 Sports, and his offer list is impressive. Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Florida. Right now, the warmer ones are Alabama, Ohio State, and Tennessee. Ironically, the other player Ohio State already has in the class is the only player they have in the class committed is Doug Nestor. It'll be interesting to see them get 2 offensive linemen out of West Virginia in 1 year. We move on. Number 3 on your list, Duane.
This is a new name. This is a new name for Buckeye fans. Kid I just saw in the last week. His name is Xavier Truss, Truss. He's from Rhode Island, of all places.
Wow. We're going to West Virginia and Rhode Island, recruiting hotbeds. Continue.
There you go. He is a monster, Dan. He's 6'7". He's 325 pounds now. And if you looked at him, you would say, he's about 270. Just a massive kid. And he's out there throwing these Rhode Island kids around to a degree that you're like, okay, he shouldn't be allowed to play football in this state. Send him somewhere. He's just a massive, massive kid with just a nasty attitude, and he moves so well. And again, I go back to we have just not done a good enough job of recruiting top tackles recently. You come back and it really magnifies the importance of Petit Ferrer that we got him at all, and we get the number 1 tackle in the country in him. We need to do more of that. We've gone down the list. You go like with Kevin Fetter, who came out of nowhere. He didn't even play offense in high school. Get some guys that everybody wanted. So, this kid here is just a monster. Forget about his level of competition. So often with high school linemen, you say, well, he hasn't played against the right level of competition. Most of them don't. They just don't.
They don't exist.
The guys.
They don't exist.
They're not running into guys on the other side of the line that are going D1 college. So, that's why I believe in the combine camp circuit when it comes to looking at the offensive linemen and defensive linemen too, in particular, more so than the skill position players. These guys are just not used to playing against people that are both big and good enough to really challenge them. So I'm not really worried about that. I'm looking at this kid move and look at his frame, and he's just the total package. Love him. I understand that we're really in it for him too. So that would be a pair of bookend tackles that we can count on for years to come. That's why I've got them. As you said earlier, I am much more interested. The number one class, that's a novelty to me. I want to fill needs, and we need to get some tackle depth in here, some really top guys.
Yeah, the Truss one is interesting. I think you can expect a Penn State battle for that one, not surprisingly, given where he's from. His crystal ball right now is 100% towards Penn State, but it's very early in the process. Number 4 on Duane's most wanted in the class of 2019.
Noah Cain, running back from Florida. I look at
Noah
this kid
Cain.
last
Okay.
year.
Yep.
Last year, I looked at him and said, this is the best back playing high school football. Forget about class. Just this is the best back in the country, period. And I still believe that. I'm a huge Noah Cain fan. He's a complete package. He's got good size. He's not a small kid. He's 5'11", 6 foot, and 200 pounds already. So he's solid. That's where I like to see running backs coming out of high school. 5'11", 6 foot, 190, 200 pounds. If they're a little bigger than that, okay. But that's just such a solid foundation to build on for a high school back. Bring those kind of guys in. I'm telling you, watching him, he can run between the tackles. He can get outside and burn you. He's just a kid that, you just need to keep that going. We're going to be a run-first team until Urban Meyer's sitting in the rocking chair with a grandchild on his lap. So we need to keep the stable up. We're not going to keep all these guys. We got 2 this year. We've got 3 coming back. And I'm telling you, in 2019, if we're down to 2, it's not going to surprise me. So let's just keep the we need to keep that running back room full. And Noah Cain is a great start.
Yeah, Noah Cain, ironically, not even the highest-rated running back on his high school team. Let's not hold that against him. He goes to IMG Academy now. That would be Trey Sanders. I watched both. I like Cain better myself. 5'11", 207 pounds. That's almost prototype right now. Great athlete. 13 predictions on him right now in the crystal ball. 38% Ohio State, 31% Texas. You may be wondering why Texas. This kid was second-team All-State as a sophomore at Denton Guyer in Texas, which is big-time football. So you're talking about a guy who played early in Texas and is finishing it off at IMG. You probably can't have a more complete and prepared high school prospect at running back, Duane. Very good call, number 4, Noah Cain. Number 5, and your final most wanted player on the list.
Well, it was tough. There were so many guys I wanted to stick in here, but I had to go with just position, and that is quarterback. So I'm going with Michael Johnson. He's a quarterback from Oregon. His dad is a college football coach. There's a lot of talk about him, associating him with Michigan and, of course, with Oregon. But I think we can go in there and get him, and I just love his combination of size. He's definitely a pass-first quarterback. I actually think that you could classify him either as a pro style or a dual threat because he is looking to throw the football. He's a lot like Tate Martell in that way that even though he can burn you with his feet, he still wants to throw the football. He stays in there, hangs tough, and gets the ball down the field. Fine arm, not going to have to worry about mechanics. That's something that bothers me so often is, coming out of high school, before you can teach them to play quarterback at this level, you got to straighten out their mechanics. Trying to do both is kind of difficult. You can get them into the playbook and all that, but actually executing an offense, first you got to get the mechanics straightened around. So you're not going to have to do that with this kid. He's got good size. He's about 6'3". As I said, he runs very well, so you're not going to have to worry about him running the zone read. And Just an outstanding passer. I'm a big fan of his. And, again, I just think the quarterback room is going to be emptier than people think it's going to be here in a year or so. So let's make sure we got that well stocked. Okay, so I came back to just the quarterback's the most important position on the football field. So go with our top kid. I mean, I see him as the number 2 quarterback in the country behind Bo Nix, who's already committed to Auburn. Like we were surprised at that. So Michael Johnson, I'd have to put the quarterback in there at number 5 on my list. There could have been any number of other guys that I stuck in there.
Yeah, Johnson's an interesting case because so much is going to depend on what his dad does. Certainly wouldn't put it past any program, not Ohio State, who doesn't need to do that, hiring his dad just to get him. The old Danny Manning approach to recruiting, which, listen, that happens everywhere. Can't do anything about it. But Johnson's the kind of guy you definitely want to be in on because things could change late with him, especially down the stretch next year when jobs come up. And I would agree, of all the quarterbacks I watched, he's just blessed. He's got the total package. All right, here are the 2 guys that I came up with. Now, I'm not basing this on whether Ohio State will get them or not. I'm basing this on the man crush vibe you get when you watch on tape. The first guy is Brew McCoy, 6'3", 215-pound athlete that was met at Mater Dei in California. He is the most physical perimeter player I have watched in recent memory. I don't even know if he's going to be able to play receiver because he's going to get so big. They list him at 6'3", 215. For reference, Michael Thomas is listed at 6'3", 212 right now, and he's on the Saints. So Brew McCoy, I would say go watch his tape. He's the number 1 player in California. I checked last night. Yes, it's going to be tough to get a guy like that out of California, but he is interested in Ohio State. They are very interested in him, and I would encourage you to go watch his tape. It looks like that's the classic USC battle out there, but an absolute stud on both sides of the ball. He looks like an offensive player to me, but if you told me he was going to be Darren Lee, bigger, stronger, and faster than that, and still I'd believe it. So the other guy, and I tend to fall in love with the speed outside rusher types who run through you. Brandon Smith, a defensive end out of Mineral, Virginia, Louisa County. I just encourage you to go watch his tape. I'm not even going to explain it too much. Chris Spielman often talks about how you don't aim for the man, you aim behind him and cut him off, go through him, cut him in half. Brandon Smith is cutting dudes in half all over the field. His tape actually reminds me of Ryan Shazier's high school tape, although he's a little bit taller. So I think they project him at defensive end, but he is an absolute werewolf. Brew McCoy and Brandon Smith are my early man crushes. McCoy looks like a USC battle, and Smith, unfortunately, looks like it's going to be an Ohio State, Penn State battle down the stretch. So we will keep it locked on that.
Brandon Smith was actually my number 6 guy. He's badass. He's just a bad dude. And they put him in the middle of the field a lot of times and just let him run to the football. And he's going to get there. And when he gets there, something bad is going to happen to the other guy.
That stood out to me. He arrives with bad intentions. He doesn't even have to wrap up half the time. He's running through dudes. I'm telling you, if you want to watch, of all the tape I watched, the one that made me move forward in my seat, now you can't tell by competition, etc. Brandon Smith, Mineral, Virginia. I have no idea what position he's going to be playing, except I would put him on the field first. So he was impressive. Listen, it's a great-looking class. We're blessed at Ohio State to literally be able to go to the best players and start to dream and have that stuff come true. So Duane and I will be chronicling this for you for the next 350-plus days. Should be a fun ride. Let's have a good one, Bucknutters.